Na ye.
Alaji meba. Mami ni aba. Onia. So what if you ni na? Bijini ese bedi nkomo. Ya men kan.
But you know politics.
That's it. Yeah, this uncle was it?
In the yeah kai in your Sir John. In the new birthday.
Sir John. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, ma ni na number nya yako. Sir John has been a very good friend. But Sir John has some more kind. Fear delegates. Yeah, the dynamics in politics, you want. I mean, the CPP training is me most or two. Yeah, me say when victory is coming out. Now
defeat is there.
The you see it. Well, I John Emo speech na him there lose. But they want. Ninya depend upon the blocks we were talking about.
Yeah.
How do you manage the system so that the system supports you? System no is you in politics.
What a man for support no.
Ebi numu ton the one
support no papa.
Ebi numu button one then. Was a support political party. Party no baba power. Pros kupo and their contract kupo. Onya.
107.7 FM.
Maba more on the political scene from 1978. Me shall say from 69, but with the pace posters there, yeah, total mobile bongo from one than opponents in the nigga one has yeah, my mentor here at Okashia Nancy Uwi. He was my mentor. Jesus saw a war, Mamprobi, Ojo Go, Ojo Sameto, your friend Ojo Go. There was the Cratchy Bio, young grandfather Torcho, Namishasi, Sanamoko, Simpe, Salvation Cluster of Schools, Mogo Ebenezer Primary, Mobile Simpe 1, Mazoko Dogono. And see within that area, the major so office in the politics and the rough side of politics and the good side of politics. You didn't name the secondary school. In 1978, me failed CPP. But it came to a point. I was approached there. I'm fighting against Achampo. The Achampo ni Unigov. My own mother was supporting Unigov.
Oh, mommy.
Mommy, joy a CPP, women organizer in Central Region. No supporting Unigov. Now, was American and Yamanyama watcher. It got me annoyed. When I name Yentasi, Papa. And that could be one lawyer, Broadments. Omo, we invite him. No, a friend who won. Was a no power was a casa. That's was my first time of meeting Dr. Dubois in that time. He was a doctor, not a professor. Dr. Dubois Nana Akufo-Addo. War Brother Men's Nifi. You had a chat. Also what the red one. No. Blue yes. The red no near the chassis. And see you had the Kulu machine. Na ye di sukrom
bomwa
ye bo na post fu chase ye na ya ye nyimi herian nti efa sabo ma obi police yin dan hu bi na ye beto Central Regional Youth and Development Association na ye na no kuchu be kwen chairman na me one of the organizers na ye nyi just we had a secretary and coordinating organizers. No carve certain constituencies what they mean. Yet the film, yet the boy joining Imoro Igala. Ne PMP. And being CPP Mrententi all joined Imoro Igala. PMP was formed by the Northern Caucus. Nzi yako joining in Edizima. I became part of Le Mans campaign team. Here, minim Ghana pa. Onye de wasi.
Unim Ghana pa.
Pa. Onye de wasi.
On leadership.
I know Ghana proper. No joke. I know Ghana proper. I know Ghana proper. And see, yechimama. But you know, politics tend to destroy people's personality. Politics create certain perception about people. And see, in politics, if you don't tell your story, people wouldn't know who you are. And they would take advantage of people who malign you. What words that they use in maligning you is what they use as propaganda to destroy you and to destroy your chances. And see, I became so close to Aka. I was Aka campaigns manager. And how we decimated the CPP and brought the CPP on board to join NDC in the Progressive Alliance. I am renting what we did. And we are even friends who walked away from us and named us in Kata. In Kata. But we head on to it. Our belief was that Rawlings' policies look more of socialist ideas. So there's no other alternative. And we were not so financially strong. And there were a lot of the youth within the PMP that have joined hands with the Rawlings revolution. And see, if PNDC is now to be transformed into a political party, and looking at the way the country was being managed, now we felt there, no, let's use the CPP to help that platform of NDC to win power. And see,
your CPP somehow became a springboard.
Yeah, a springboard.
For NDC.
For NDC. Aka was brought from Botswana to become the managing director of GOIL. For us to have resources for campaign. Because we're not receiving resources from the NDC. Sure. And see, at the end of the day, NDC got one conference at the Cape Coast. Here's a center. And it was there that both parties announced the Progressive Alliance. There were 3 people who were the pillars of Ebro NCP, spearheaded by Captain Chikata, Ebotewia, and PV Obi. These are people from the CPP stock. And the realization was that let's meet at John Tetegan's house, Army at Austin. Then 2 of my elders are Wewu, Tiki Apia and KS Anna, who were the 4 from the region. Or the Yeketsu Kwame Nkrumah Welfare Society in the film Yadibetu Webro. And then we had also Kwame Nkrumah Youngsters Club Bar at Akesin and Liokran was about joining. They had to form me NCP. I was the regional organizer for the NCP. Later on became deputy national organizer and national organizer of the NCP.
See.
Now, Ghana politics, it's all about sen. So you would destroy if the person is doing good, or they will destroy now. And that is why I'm saying there. Here, Nana Akufo-Addo, the way I was destroying, for us all, we believed it. Until one day at the castle, many can't send me to Nana Akufo-Addo. The President Mills or from Go Castle. Allotey, stop it. I said, look, cherish friendship. I will live with you in cherished friendship. Nana Akufo-Addo was my very good friend. Yeah, click, Walegon. What they say about him is not true. I was shocked. I was a prof. I said, Mama, catch your politics in there. Enjoy Kabicham. Or your Professor Doolittle, or your politics. These are political rhetorics. But the truth is that until them, man can cut the man some in view. Your politics are in clean, and you mean I will direct your course. Now where you rough doodle. I stopped. I had a different perception about the man. So, me care there, yeah. You know, me care there, yeah, as the anti-Unigovi. Young man, yes. No, yeah, fair. Baby, you know, kasa. That, yeah, them, we giant, offend flyers. Oh, me who be. That was 78. Me who should be my 79 years share PMP ase. Me had to Ghana ha. The man, Prof. Marty. Me had about 2018. What convinced me most was the management of the COVID-19. What shot in the statement oba ni presidential advisors na staffers. Kasa working. Mr. No, there's a change in our leadership in this country. I'm telling you, I'm confessing.
You have never seen this leadership.
I'm telling you.
With all your experience in politics.
No, Mr. Lemandi, it was a short while. Nusu Nkofo Sanunu were best. One is alive today, Professor Nabila. These were men. A cancer will be tea. No was a huge man. Here, if you be a busia paying human on your fear, papa.
If you be a busia
paying human,
as I just say, papa, when you pay
I mean, my fancy casa. Yeah, a bottom mark where he be a say funeral celebration be a say. Extra arrangements now why you're honor. Well, Uncle Sabi said, why no you paying no with ya? It's because of the way things have been arranged, how the harmonious ceremony, most of crowd be come on. You are satisfied. As a man, you are in the if you paying if you man. If you be so a coma, say wedding upon the way, sir. A wound that trouble sankutin from beginning to end. Maybe someone the me fee paying you are. Mr. Ghana, we have had a mature leader. And now what is suspending from NDC. Mr. We have a matured president, a mature leader.
Matured president.
A leader who speaks to people and people listen. You talk against him, it will turn around negatively against you because he's walking on the right path. And see, what you are there, time for us to be telling people the truth. Nzina mugade oboko kudu baby wagana ha. Eye politician ne gina platform do. Ne kasa na nkese ye. Woboto mobile bo platform no do. Ane wobo show. Here, this morning I said it on another radio station. Missy, you see the free SHS. It has become so successful there. Even the Ninsinyi or Konfuti Gali or Shea Kwasi. Also, Neba, Ombre School. No, Ombre, almost Yadi. It's because there's free education.
Yeah.
Everybody wants his child to be educated. Now we are now at a converging point. There is the need for us to sit down as stakeholders. How we can manage these traditional norms what did they share school room because if you're a Rastafarian
now
first in the mass if
you cry win your school
the school no boy here a conference and you get students from the northernmost part of northern regions and you see them then you stand up and say government will be in your 13 14 no on Fantipin will be in your 12 no was St. Augustine's and then 15 of the far end of northern region gamer and the also one just for that conference of Fatado St. Augustine's the policy has changed in such a way that school authorities they are not having any say when it comes to the admissions into various schools. Like in the days of Kwame Nkrumah, when you had a lot of people, the same thing. There's no difference between these free SHS and that was Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh really?
Oh yes.
Send the northern part no
mobile. In America, it's being extended throughout the whole country. The mortality was the admissions in here. It was done in the northern part of Adi. But Onupo, no nothingness. We go on when you all that free education. But this time they're having what we call free the word free education. And so I'm a Cape Coast. I mean, although yeah, educational tourist center, you are having these young men coming from the northern, the middle belt, the southern belt, all entering into Cape Coast. Just as to state residency, and that walk from school, hundreds of vehicles will overtake one another. It's an achievement. Onisi neba, Oroko school. Why a dreadlocks? Ozoko first in that day when he's in baby Ruko school.
Rasta man.
No, there's a difference between Rasta and dreadlocks. Because some people are born naturally with dreadlocks. Samson was one. Moses was another. Joshua was another. These are men God chose to lead his people. Eba yen so yen traditional ebuna wa also abofo baby ayo wo forest obo pay no ye dreadlocks ba yen ni yes fa abosom pan nti obo wie na nsreba no shishe ni team they are natural dreadlocks won fa semina nka won fa poso ntwa wozinyi na ye won so wakato wig na wodi chefua was it here and style be but you see I'm just riding into topics now.
Yeah,
people should understand that Rastafarism is not a religion, it's a movement carved out of reggae music. Yes,
they have a certain common belief.
There were musicians from Jamaica who visited Ethiopia and visited His Excellency Emperor Haile Selassie, who was then the king of Ethiopia. Haile Selassie happens to be a descendant of Solomon. Solomon was not a Rastafarian or a dreadlock person. His father was a dreadlock person. Bathsheba, Solomon ni mami Bathsheba. Bathsheba.
David Kofa na ukun.
Nje ni wafanyi adi Ahithophel. Bathsheba. Ni wafaye Ahithophel. Bathsheba, Ahithophel. These are people in the movement of Israel from the land of Egypt into the land of Canaan. There were people who were not pure Jews from the descendants of Abraham, but rather they were from other tribes who were then living in Egypt. And see, in the movement from Egypt, a lot of them join hands and follow the Israelis or the Jews or the Hebrews to their present day abode. And to bear in mind, structure, urban, are quite different. But King Solomon happened to have a kind of a wedlock with Sheba or Queen of Saba. Saba or Yekoa, Sisia, Yemen.
Yeah.
Yemen, Djibouti,
Yeah.
Eritrea, in the Ethiopia was known as Saba. In a one queen who was a powerful warrior. Okeshia King Solomon was a woba. A ban nasi on Izalasi. I mean, you know all this.
Yeah.
It's Izalasi against dreadlocks or natural dreadlocks. You make us here Uvi Kwamanzi or go Caribbean. When you read the history of the black slaves who were fighting against their masters in the plantations, were slaves coming from Kwamanzi. Was it we're getting a new king?
Yes.
The emperor, His Excellency, so and so. No, was I Abakaho. But they are natural dreadlocks people. What I mean to say, or to sum up, on in there, the Education Service, Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, and all stakeholders in the education industry, there is a need for us to have a roundtable. We should discuss it thoroughly and redefine this issue that has cropped up. Here, you did bear 1 week, 2 weeks. One in there.
Some.
Okay. Another day.
Yes,
another one, so baby. But even there, what the free SHS has carried along, in there, all the structures of our society want their children to be educated.
Baby,
Onizinyo, Okonfunyo, Otigalinyo. Everybody wants his child to be educated. I may agree and disagree with Achimota School. I may agree and disagree with Ghana Education Service because
Nagrat.
No, why are kwani with the issue? They are not being Education Service is not being straightforward with the issue. Why are kwani with it? But in yana yet it will affect Dama. Because I can't see how a fetish priest in the Barobo school or the part of Bubonim.
I said, yeah,
no,
worry, busy.
Na all you be seen Jote bien Osinano. Na wa assembly war, no come brrra. Jo Obiabo.
Allotey for you.
No.
What for me?
And then Rastafarian in the back. Ebia. No papa onya all Rastafarians in one week. But a bit more, but we too is herbal. One side or what's about the therapeutic, the other side is psychotic. And the Yangaza and he's in the happy. There's a papa classroom or assembly one Otianana Uzu Egagaden. Peer pressure. Obomo Ubiniba. Ekosia adibia odibo befia if you onto them. So what do we do?
Right.
I mean, on pay to learn and the pay mass I'm getting there. So convenient and is in ba njaya o konfano je secondary technical. Na enizivuna a confirma na we to mark hobby. Mazamin.
Medase. O konfano je secondary
Okofo Sectec.